Hi. Good morning. Welcome to 10-Minute Sci-Fi Thrillers by Ramanarao MLV. Our today's sci-fi thriller is The Trade-Off, a story in which you trade off what can't part with for what you love more than your life. Before we begin, a request to the sci-fi lovers watching this. These are not recycled tales. Every story you hear here is original, crafted word by word for minds that like to wander and wonder. And often, the final lines flip the entire story on its head. So, stay with us till the end. If you blink at the end, you might miss the meaning entirely.
Here begins the story. I bet you'd never let go of it. Not unless something, or someone, meant more. But what if you have to trade the one thing you could never share for the one thing you love most? Trade-offs are usually decided by need on one side and greed on the other. And in our world, the person with clout always has the final say. Especially in a world where economic divisions are so deep that they seem to have created two subspecies of Homo sapiens. Let me tell you about an industry you'd never imagine. One that thrives by devouring a strange kind of commodity. Something priceless in one way. Something painfully ordinary in the other. That is sleep. Not all of it, but a part of it that makes it a commodity and valuable to those corporations that are judged by their dollar worth, rather than by their moral worth. They know we cease to be a valuable source the moment we die. Because without sleep we cannot remain a valuable resource. Or in my case, I will be as good as dead once I lose interest in what I love most. They want all of us alive, dreaming wild dreams. Because better dreams mean better produce. This time, next time, and every other time. You don't kill the goose if you want the continued supply of golden eggs, right? All I want to do is to prove that they are wrong. Not all geese are completely surrendering, considering myself a goose, of course. At least that is my wish. In my attempt to regain something permanently, by losing it entirely. I hate oxymorons, but if they live in my life, how can I help it? Let me tell you about the real commodity they need from us. Not metal. Not code. But something mundanely ordinary. It is sleep. Not all of it. Just the dreaming part of it. That one untouchable chamber of human mystery. Now harvested, commercialized, and sold. Because those subconscious pieces of our consciousness are those they use in advertising. If your dream is an enticing advert, will you ever miss buying that product? The people at the advertising consortium use your dreams to lure into buying things you cannot afford. And when you cannot pay, they offer you one way out. Sell them more of your dreams. It's a self-sustaining vicious circle. A feedback loop of exploitation, where you are the consumer at one end, and the commodity at the other. Well, I need to confess, not all episodes end the way they are supposed to, because life is an author with the wildest imagination possible. Unnatural as it may sound, you will be more than happy to rent your consciousness, especially when you're not using it, when you're asleep, giving a pause in the continuum of your consciousness. You are never told that you are a pivotal part of the loop, in that feedback loop of exploitation. In fact, you're never even aware the loop exists. The stated purpose, what they blabber when they are convincing you to sell the most valuable thing you have. They will say, to refine the attributes of consciousness. For human good, or so they say. At least the consortium is decent enough to keep the truth from you. Truth about the real reason for their buying your dreams. They don't break in through the skull. They don't drag bodies out of bed. Their sophisticated harvesting algorithm waits for the moment the mind softens and opens, and then they enter your mind, not brain, remotely. They know pretty well that a sleeping lion is far less dangerous than a cornered cat. So they map your dreams. Fearlessly and greedily. Use them to create simulations about your inclination to purchase goods they advertise. Business means money. And only money. Huge business means only, can I say, blood money? Hey, I use the word blood money, for want of a better word. Okay, blood money it is. That is why they use the results, for behavioral advertising. Stealing your subconscious dreams to create advertisements that lure you into buying during your conscious state. A vicious circle, half of which is alien to you, the other half being an enslaving part, your conscious being. They shape your conscious being. Real profits lie in selling goods you have no necessity to buy. Dreamers become generators. And the more original your dreams, the higher your market value. I wouldn't have dreamed of this trade-off. Rather, you can call surrendering. Not for anything, except for Mira, my daughter. She was lured into this dirty game before she even knew what she was giving up. First, just a few minutes of REM, she thought. No big deal, she didn't even tell me. Teenagers, they're vessels of emotion, untinctured by experience. That's what makes them beautiful. And terrifying. Unfortunately, both at wrong times. She did that for campus credits. Do dreams beget dreams? I wish they don't. Then she was doing it full cycles. By the time I noticed, she was trading them for something worse. Something I really don't want to talk about. They promised her pleasure. Blissful control over her inner world. By offering money. It's not just my daughter. I see it everywhere now. Faces that should be lit with life and fire. Faces with ghostly shadows not seen but felt. The tentacles have spread far too wide and broad. I watched her lose her spark. Not overnight. Like color fading from a photo. One day she said, "They only use the parts one forget, Dad. Why does it matter?" But doesn't it? Of course it does matter. Living the false dreams of euphoria at the cost of the real dreams that might elevate you to the pinnacles of success. Can a person who can't dream reach the unimaginable peaks of success? That's the illusion. Living it just another form of death. They steal something that could have made you someone great. She is the person I love most. The person who makes me ready to trade something I couldn't have shared. For her. Do you have any better reason? So I have decided to sell the commodity. To save my living dream by losing the dreams they crave for. I signed the contract. Of course I sold my dreams. On paper I joined the program voluntarily. A willing source. An old man with a decaying imagination, they first thought so. But my love for my living dreams makes my dreams structured the way they would die for. They gained access to my dreams. The code with my unique identification number enables them to do so. Of course, just like their ulterior agenda, my secret agenda has actually remained secret. Then I understood that love can make miracles. Algorithms see data, I mean dreams, in ones and zeros, not in tears and fears, right? I offer them the purest data. In their system I have become a value bracket. For them I am not I. I am something from which dreams can be harvested. Beautiful and wildly imaginative ones that are miracles for their adverts. What I am going to tell you is the aside of the old dramatic tradition. In reality I am myself. With a motive beyond their wildest imagination. A decoy, as they may soon identify me. But it will be too late. Every night I dream for them. Creating imaginative arcs that'll make people want what they don't need. You know the Rubik Cube? I've programmed one in my dreamscape. Not in colors. Not in twists. But the skeleton beneath. The Rubik's Cube shows disorder on the surface, while hiding a perfect order beneath. An order necessary for the cube to be solved. The skeleton of the Rubik Cube can be anything but disorder. And that's where I operate. Not on the face of the Rubik Cube, but in the skeleton. How can I do that? That too when I am sleeping. Of course I could tell you. But if you start reverse engineering, you will ruin the ending. My dreams aren't just seeds. They are the medium, the space around which my brain wraps the subtle, malicious autosuggestions. The skeleton, subtly being framed. But here is the real twist. It's not in the dream scenes. It's in the transitions. The quiet pulp between moments. The glue that holds dream sequences together. Inside that glue are my autosuggestions embedded. They analyze the scenes, but they skip the transitions. And that's where the subversion hides. Hard to understand. Let me give you a simple analogy. When you're solving a problem, you plan steps. But between those steps, if you whisper to yourself, "I'm weak. I'll fail," over and over again, you will fail. Not because the steps are wrong, but because of what you whispered in between them. We are never as strong as we think we are, because we overestimate ourselves. But we're always as weak as we believe we are. Because the very idea that you're weak makes you weak. That's exactly what I've been doing. A Trojan not in the dream, but between the scenes of the dream. A gap the algorithm never checks. Safe haven for my plan. I whisper something to myself. Every time. Between dreams and between the scenes of the dreams. Now I have to tell you. I can't hold it back anymore. Not if I want you to understand. I am a vivid dreamer. Do you know what that means? It means that I know I'm dreaming. I can shape that dream. With my psyche. My intent. It's not common. But it's not rare either. And I've been doing it for almost a month. Whispering that autosuggestion a zillion times. Between the scenes of the dreams and between the dreams. In transitions. Inside the skeleton of my Rubik's Cube. I didn't tell you before. Not out of shame. But because power shared too soon is power diluted. So now if you're still with me, wait for a few more seconds. I'll tell you what that autosuggestion is. It took 30 relentless nights. Normally, dreams punctuate the sleep. In my case, sleep punctuated dreams. And I became the most productive resource the consortium ever had. On the 31st day it happened. Their listed shares plummeted. 90%. Know why? Because the algorithm didn't just fail. It crashed. In my words, it is dead. No one knows the reason. Except me. It was my autosuggestion. It assassinated the core AI. I looked at my pale face in the mirror and smiled. Defiantly. Proudly. My paleness. My sunken cheeks. My frail body that replaced the athletic one I had only 30 days ago. Despite all this, I laughed triumphantly. Because I've saved my living dream. Mira. You might ask me now. What about the paradox? How can I win her by losing her? I cannot postpone the answer any longer because I don't have time. Well, I win her because I've got her back. From those devilish tentacles. I lose her. Because I haven't told you the autosuggestion I buried between the dreams, have I? It was simple. I am dead. I am dead. The autosuggestions work more effectively on the person who is directly involved with it. Well, I am indeed dead now. The pulsating line on the ECG has gone flat. Not all trade-offs tilt toward the greed. Sometimes need wins it to its favor. The secret lies in the love you cherish. With all your heart. Even after my death, my smile echoes to my daughter. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. And don't forget to share it with fellow sci-fi thriller lovers. Your support means the world to us. I will soon come to you with another sci-fi thriller. Till then, enjoy good literature in your life as well.